Rise, stand. Before you touch your phone, before you let the noise of the world in, you listen to you. Say it. Believe it. Burn it into your blood. The world isn't waiting, it's watching, and you were never born to blend in. You were built to break limits. Now move. Now build. Now dominate. I create my reality through my thoughts and my actions. This is not a quote. This is a law, unshakable, eternal, absolute. Everything I touch, everything I achieve, everything I fail to reach is a reflection of the thoughts I allow and the actions I choose. Life is not luck. It is not fate. It is decisions stacked on top of decisions shaped by the beliefs I enforce in my mind and the habits I carry into my day. Nothing is written unless I write it myself. My thoughts are not whispers. They are blueprints. Every moment I allow doubt, fear, or laziness into my space, I hand power to weakness. But when I wake and feed my mind strength, vision, and clarity, I forge a mindset that builds empires. My thoughts guide my hands. My hands shape my days, and my days build the structure of my destiny. That's how I win. Not through one great leap, but through silent, precise victories every morning. When I tell myself I am focused, I become focused. When I tell myself I am powerful, I begin to act with power. This is no magic. It is cause and effect. The mind does not argue. It obeys. It accepts. It enforces. And once my mind accepts strength as the default, my actions follow without hesitation. That is when results appear. That is when transformation begins. Not from the outside in, but from the inside out. I do not wait for motivation. I do not pray for luck. I do not lean on others to lift me. I rise because this life is mine to build or break. If I choose strong thoughts, I get strong direction. If I pair that with relentless execution, then nothing can stop me. Every builder, every leader, every self-made success followed this rule. They became what they repeatedly told themselves they already were. So I do not speak weakness. I do not say maybe. I do not say I'll try. I say I will. I say I must. I say it is already mine. And then I prove it with action. Because action is the only true test of belief. If I say I want greatness, but my habits speak laziness, then I'm lying to myself. That is why I align my words with my steps. What I think is where I go. What I do is what I become. Discipline is my language. Vision is my compass. Excuses, delays, and distractions, they do not live here. Every second is a tool I can wield or a weapon I can waste. And I refuse to waste it. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow is not promised, but now is mine. And if I own enough nows, I will own the future. I am not a victim of circumstances. I am the creator of outcomes. The world owes me nothing. I owe myself everything. That is why I take full control of my mind and my actions. Victims wait. Builders act. I do not let fear whisper. I face it. I override it. I destroy it. Fear only lives when I obey. The moment I challenge it, it shrinks. The moment I push through it, it dies. Success is not reserved for the lucky, the privileged, or the chosen. It is earned by the relentless, the focused, the self-directed. Every day that I rise, declare strength and follow it with action. I multiply my power. I do not aim to survive. I aim to dominate. I am not here to be average. I am here to break the mold, to shatter ceilings, to set new standards. First for myself, then for the world. I build habits that align with my vision. I sharpen my mind before my body. I master my thoughts before I chase my goals. And when obstacles appear, I do not ask, why me? I declare this is for me. Every struggle is a forge. Every challenge is fuel. While others complain, I convert pressure into performance. While others wait for the right mood, I move with intent. I am not led by feelings. I am led by purpose. And every morning, I return to this truth. My reality is not accidental, it is intentional. My future does not respond to hope, it responds to command. I don't need permission to rise, I don't need approval to build. All I need is the discipline to tell myself the truth and the courage to live like it's real. I was born capable, but capability means nothing without responsibility. So I take full ownership. I am the architect. I am the executive. I am the answer. I create my reality through my thoughts and actions. And starting today, I will create nothing less than greatness. Today is my opportunity to dominate, not hesitate. I don't wake up to wait. I don't rise just to exist. I rise to take command. Each morning's not a restart. It is a proving ground, a chance to show whether I'm serious about what I say I want. There is no room for hesitation because hesitation is the thief of momentum. One pause, one delay, one moment of weakness can cost me progress. But when I move with precision and purpose, the day bends to my will. I don't compete with others. I compete with my potential. That is the only enemy that matters. I don't care what anyone else is doing. I care whether I'm doing what I said I would do. That's the game. That's the fight. And if I don't dominate it, the world will dominate me. The clock is ticking, whether I act or not. And I refuse to let time pass while I sit in indecision. Action is power. Hesitation is surrender. People wait for motivation. I don't. I train my mind to go regardless of how I feel. I train myself to act, especially when I don't want to, because that is where the edge is built. Right at the point where most people stop. While they overthink, I execute. While they scroll, I sharpen. While they wish, I work. I don't ask, should I do it now? Now I say, it's already done. This isn't about being busy, it's about being deliberate. Every move I make must bring me closer to what I'm building. Every word I speak must carry weight. Every step must be loaded with intent. To dominate the day doesn't mean doing more. It means doing what matters, doing it right, and doing it with power. No distractions, no noise, just a laser focus and forward motion. Weak thoughts are not allowed in my mind when the day begins. I silence them before they speak. I do not give fear a seat at the table. I do not give doubt a second to breathe. I fill my head with clarity, with purpose, with direction. There is no waiting for a sign. I am the sign. There is no hoping for a push. I am the push. The world responds to force, not wishes. It moves for those who refuse to stay still. Every opportunity I have today could be the breakthrough I've been working for, but I will never know if I hesitate. The door does not stay open forever. The chance does not wait for convenience, so I don't wait for perfection. I move, I adjust, I improve along the way. If I fall, I get back up. If it's hard, I get harder. If it's slow, I push faster. No resistance can outlast a relentless spirit. When I walk into a room, I carry presence, not because I seek attention, but because I know who I am and what I came to do. I don't shrink to make others comfortable. I don't dim to blend in. My goals are not small. My work is not average. I operate on a different level because I demand more from myself. And it all begins every morning with one choice: to dominate. Domination is not about control over others. It is control over myself, my reactions, my discipline, my consistency. I am not ruled by moods. I am ruled by mission. I don't need the day to be easy. I just need to remember what I'm here for. The moment I lock in on that, nothing can shake me. Distractions lose their grip. Doubt loses its voice, and excuses, they vanish under the weight of pure determination. I hold the pen. I write the story. If I hesitate, the page stays blank. If I dominate, I fill it with legacy. I am not here to fade into the background of life. I am here to etch my name into history, through results, through discipline, through fire in the way I show up. And that starts now. Not later, not someday. But now there is a version of me I have not met yet. Stronger, sharper, more focused, more unshakable. That version waits at the end of the road I build today. Every choice brings me closer or pulls me further away. There is no neutral. Every action is a vote. Every decision is a declaration. And I will not vote with hesitation. I vote with execution. So I don't waste this morning. I don't delay. I don't scroll aimlessly or drift mindlessly. I build, I push, I lead, I sharpen. Because today is mine. And I will not hand it over to weakness. The time is now. The power is here. The responsibility is mine. Today is my opportunity to dominate, not hesitate, and I will not waste a second of it. I am unstoppable when I decide to be. That's not a wish, it's a fact. Nothing can hold me back once I fully commit. The moment I flip the internal switch from maybe to must, everything changes. Doubt gets silenced. Fear gets ignored. Distractions lose their power. Because when I truly decide, I become a force that refuses to yield. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they never truly decide to succeed. They want results, but they leave room for retreat. I don't. I remove the back door. I destroy the exit plan. I burn the excuses before they even take shape, because when I decide to become unstoppable, I eliminate every option except forward. That is the power of commitment. Real, full, no turning back commitment. I've learned that nothing outside of me is stronger than what lives within me. No obstacle, no opinion, no rejection can override the power of a made-up mind. When I walk into a challenge knowing I've already committed to the outcome, the fight is half won. I don't hope it works. I make it work. I don't wait for a sign. I become the signal. My belief becomes my engine. My effort becomes my proof. And once I start, I don't stop until the goal is finished. Not imagine. This world responds to energy. It moves for the relentless. It doesn't yield to those who wish. It bows to those who pursue with everything they have. And when I decide to be unstoppable, I stop asking for permission. I stop needing reassurance. I stop negotiating with mediocrity. I narrow my focus. I drown out the noise and amplify the vision. Every person who has built something legendary made the same decision to be unstoppable. Not when it was easy, not when it felt good, but in the face of resistance, in the presence of pain, under pressure, surrounded by reasons to quit. They chose power over pity. They chose discipline over distraction. And that choice, repeated every day, created momentum that could not be broken. I carry that same power. I don't need more talent. I don't need the perfect environment. What I need and already have is the ability to decide, the ability to command my mind and force my body to follow, the ability to walk into difficulty and say, "You are not bigger than me," the ability to fall and rise without complaint, without pause, without losing direction. I'm not waiting to feel ready. Ready is a trap. There is no perfect moment. There is only the decision to start and the resolve to keep going. Once I decide that nothing will stop me, I stop feeding attention to the things that used to slow me down. The critics fade. The past fades. Weakness fades. All that remains is the mission, the fire, the forward motion. Yes, there will be days when my energy is low, days when I face failure, days when results come slow, But none of that matters once I've already decided I will finish what I started. That's what being unstoppable means. It's not about being fearless. It's not about being perfect. It's about continuing regardless of the condition. It's about pushing when the fuel's gone, rising when I'm tired, showing up when comfort begs me to stay home. My circumstances don't define me. My decisions do. I've seen people with every reason to fail rise and conquer because they refuse to let their situation make them small. I've seen people with every advantage collapse because they never decided to stand tall. It's not about what I have. It's about who I choose to become. And I choose strength. I choose fire. I choose relentless forward motion. I've burned too many bridges to go back. I've sacrificed too much to play small. I've come too far to stop short. When I say I am unstoppable, it's not a slogan. It's a declaration. It means I live in such a way that no excuse can find a place in my life. It means I fight for my vision, not just when it's visible, but especially when it's still unseen. There is no outside force coming to push me, no miracle coming to save me. I am the force. I am the miracle. I am the storm. And I have decided no wall, no doubt, no setback will break me. I don't have time to pause for fear. I don't have room for regret. I am too focused, too determined, too committed for anything less than total domination of my path. I am unstoppable when I decide to be. And I decide that every single day. Discipline, not emotion, controls my day. That is the law I live by. My feelings don't make decisions. My principles do. I don't let mood swings dictate my work. I don't let fatigue rewrite my mission. I don't let temporary emotions interfere with permanent goals. Discipline is the difference between people who dream and people who do. It's the line that separates the average from the elite, the talkers from the finishers, the starters from the ones who endure. Every time I choose discipline, I take control of my life, and every time I let emotion take over, I hand that control away. I wake up to win, not to wonder. I don't check how I feel before I act. I act because I said I would. Whether I'm tired, stressed, unmotivated, or uninspired, I still move forward. That's the code. That's the edge. Because while most people only work when it's easy, I've trained myself to work especially when it's not. That is when character is built. That is when results compound. That is when progress becomes unstoppable. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when I don't want to do it. Emotion says skip it. Take a break. Do it later. Discipline says get up, show up, shut up, put in the reps. Emotion is temporary. It fluctuates. It lies. It convinces me that comfort is more valuable than growth. But I've seen what comfort does. It kills momentum. It breeds regret. It turns potential into pain. Discipline, on the other hand, is steady. It is sharp. It is cold when it needs to be. And it never fails me. I don't rely on motivation. That's weakness disguised as strategy. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings fade. But discipline is forged. Discipline is chosen. Discipline is enforced. If I only act when I feel like it, I'm already finished. The truth is, the most productive days I've ever had began with me not wanting to do a damn thing. But I did it anyway. That's the standard. That's how excellence is built. Not with hype, but with consistency. I measure success by how well I keep my word when no one's watching. Emotion tells me I deserve to relax. Discipline reminds me that greatness is earned, not given. Emotion wants comfort now. Discipline wants legacy later. And every time I follow discipline, I strengthen the voice inside me that leads, commands, and builds a life worth remembering. I don't confuse being in the mood with being prepared. preparation is built through daily disciplined action. Not one big burst, but small, deliberate moves repeated every day without compromise. The world doesn't care how I feel. My results don't care if I'm tired. Success doesn't show up for the emotional. It shows up for the consistent. And that is what I am. Consistent even when it's inconvenient. When my alarm goes off, I don't debate. When it's time to train, I don't delay. When I said I'd work, I work. My schedule is non-negotiable because discipline has already made the decisions. Emotion wastes time with indecision. Discipline saves time with clarity. That is why I win. I've removed the debate. I don't ask, I execute. There is power in being emotionless when it's time to execute. Not cold, but controlled. Not heartless, but focused. I don't need to feel inspired to do what needs to be done. I simply honor the mission. The emotion may come later once the work is complete. But it does not lead me. It does not control me. I lead it. When I slip, it's because I allowed emotion to drive. That's when the mind gets soft. That's when excuses disguise themselves. Just this once, you've done enough. No one will know. But discipline knows. Discipline sees every slip. It doesn't make excuses. It makes corrections. So, I correct myself before life does. I hold the line. I don't let one misstep turn into a pattern. That's the difference. Discipline brings me back to the standard fast. This is how I stay ahead. Not by being better than anyone else, but by being better than my emotions. I don't need to be superhuman. I just need to be consistent. Ruthlessly consistent. That's how the gap is created. That's how separation happens between who I was and who I am becoming. I close that gap with discipline. Every day, every task, every decision, I've realized that emotion is noise, but discipline is signal. And I don't follow noise. I tune into signal. I follow structure. I follow strategy because strategy wins battles and emotion loses them. I'm not here to feel good every day. I'm here to finish what I started. I'm here to sharpen myself through fire, through fatigue, through resistance. And the tool I use for that sharpening is discipline. Always discipline. When the day is over, I don't ask if it was fun. I ask, did I honor the standard? That's how I measure success. Not by comfort, but by completion. Not by ease, but by execution. Discipline makes me dangerous. Discipline makes me dependable. And discipline, real, daily, unbreakable discipline, is the reason I will not be stopped. Every challenge is a chance to prove my power. I don't run from pressure. I rise inside it. I don't avoid difficulty. I embrace it because it reveals who I really am. Every obstacle in my path isn't there to break me. It's there to expose the strength I haven't tapped into yet. When most people see a problem, I see potential. When they flinch, I focus because pressure doesn't crush the prepared, it forges them. It's in those moments where the weak tap out and the strong level up. I wasn't built for an easy life. I wasn't made to avoid resistance. I was built to dominate through it. Every challenge that tries to block me becomes the very thing that sharpens my edge. I don't complain about the test. I conquer it. I don't pray for fewer problems. I demand stronger solutions from myself. The challenge isn't my enemy. It's my training ground. It's where I get sharper, faster, smarter, harder to stop. This is what separates the few from the many. When the many panic, the few perform. And I am one of the few. I don't fold when life gets heavy. I apply pressure back. I don't collapse when things go wrong. I adapt, adjust, and move again. Because challenge doesn't mean failure. It means opportunity. It's my shot to show the world, and more importantly myself, just how focused, disciplined, and unbreakable I really am. There is no growth in ease. Growth lives in adversity. It lives in the setbacks, the failures, the late nights, the early mornings, the frustrations that test every ounce of will. And in those moments, I don't wish them away. I lean in. I rise above. I prove that what I've built inside is greater than anything outside trying to pull me down. That's real power, and it only shows up when it's tested. When the pressure rises, I don't ask why me. I say, let's go. I know that on the other side of the storm is a stronger, sharper version of me waiting to be uncovered. The grind, the discomfort, the struggle, they're all shaping me into someone the old me couldn't handle. And I welcome that. I don't fear the fight. I live for it. Most people pray for comfort. I pray for the kind of trials that build legends. I don't want an easy road. I want the road that demands greatness from me every step of the way. Because that's the road that turns a name into a legacy. That's the path that makes you undeniable. Not popular, but powerful. Not loud, but lethal. That's what I'm after. Every challenge is a test of truth. Not what I say I believe, but what I prove I believe when it's hard. Anyone can be confident when everything's going right. Anyone can show up when it's convenient. But who keeps swinging when the hits keep coming? Who keeps climbing when the mountain never seems to end? That's what defines the real ones. That's where my character is carved. Not in the talk, but in the trial. Challenges aren't setbacks. They are setups. They prepare me for levels I can't access without going through the fire first. So I go through it. I don't dodge the pain. I absorb it, convert it into discipline. I don't run from the pressure. I stand still and let it shape me. Because the more I endure, the more I expand. The more I overcome, the more dangerous I become. And that's the goal. Progress through resistance, power through pain, growth through grind. Every time I rise from a challenge, I gain leverage. Mental, emotional, spiritual strength that no one can see, but everyone will feel. It's quiet power, silent dominance.